don't forget to drink your water. Hey guys, Harsh here and welcome back to Technolobe. I have been using the Realme 7 Pro for about 10 days and I have to say, the experience has been awesome. I did not expect to like the Realme 7 Pro so much because it starts at 20,000 rupees. So before this it was always under 20,000 rupees, and because it starts at 20k, I was a little skeptical about this phone, but it totally surprised me. This is a very good phone and Realme could have easily skipped the 6 Pro and launched this phone instead. This would have been a very good upgrade over the Realme 5 Pro. But nevertheless, we'll talk about the update cycle in some other video. Today we're going to talk about the cameras on Realme 7 Pro. I have been clicking a lot of photos and videos with this phone, and let's talk about that. Alright, let's start with the camera hardware. On the rear side, there's a quad camera setup. A 64 megapixel primary sensor, and this is the Sony IMX 682. It comes with a lens with an aperture of f1.8. Apart from that, there's an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera with a field of view of 119 degrees. Then the remaining two cameras include a 2 megapixel macro sensor and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. On the front side of things, there's a single 32 megapixel camera with an aperture of f2.5. So that's the camera hardware part. But we all know cameras on smartphones are not only about the hardware, but a big part is also played by the software, and that's where Realme has major upgrades. Their camera software this time is very good and you can clearly see that in the sample images. Let's start with daylighting conditions. When it comes to daylighting conditions, the primary camera shoots some really good photos. The photos are excellent in terms of dynamic range for this price point. It exposes the shadows and highlights in a very good way in almost any scenarios. Even if you shoot directly against sunlight, it will manage to capture a very good photo in terms of exposure, and that is an impressive point over here. So you can clearly see that Realme has done a very good job in terms of the camera software. Now what about the colors and white balance? Well, I'm happy to report that the colors are natural, not too oversaturated, not too undersaturated, just the way I like them. And as far as white balance goes, it does a very good job in terms of capturing the right white balance. It is inconsistent sometimes, it's like 95% accurate, which is good enough for this price point. Now because of the 64 megapixel sensor, you can crop into the photo and not lose detail, and that's why there's a dedicated 2x and 5x button inside the camera app itself. So you can shoot at 2x and 5x. This is digital zoom, not optical zoom, but it's good to have, and it's good to see that they're making use of the 64 megapixel resolution. Also, you can manually crop into the photo while editing if you want to change the frame or something like that, and that can easily be done without losing a lot of details. Talking about editing, you can shoot raw photos with this phone using the Pro mode, and that is excellent. So when you shift to Pro mode, you can control all the things like shutter speed, white balance, etc. And you can also shoot in RAW. Shooting in RAW will definitely increase the file size, but you will also get a lot of room while editing. And yeah, you can edit those photos right on the phone using something like Snapseed, which is a very handy thing. So that was the main 64 megapixel camera. What about the ultra wide angle camera? The ultra wide angle camera is okayish. It's not the best out there because the images are softer and there's a clear difference in terms of the colors from ultra wide angle camera and normal camera. So it's not a seamless experience like we get with the iPhones, and I know it's not fair to compare an iPhone with a phone that costs like 1/4 its price, but still it's not consistent throughout, which does bother me. Apart from this, the ultra wide angle is a very good perspective, so you can shoot some good photos and you can edit them and upload them to Instagram anyway, so the perspective is excellent. Alright, let's move our attention towards artificial and low lighting conditions. When it comes to low lighting scenarios, this phone shines because of the night mode. The night mode on this phone is excellent, and the cherry on the cake over here is that it is also supported for the ultra wide angle camera. Yes, you heard me right, the ultra wide angle camera also gets night mode, and that is an excellent feature. I managed to shoot some really good photos from the primary as well as the ultra wide angle camera in terms of low lighting scenarios, and yeah, I just love that feature. Like, the night mode is excellent. So that's what I'm saying, Realme has worked really hard on their camera software, and this time around they've done a very good job. So kudos to the team, thumbs up, you've done a very good job. This gets me to one more excellent thing on Realme 7 Pro, and that is video shooting. It can shoot up to 4K at 30 FPS, and the video quality that you get out of this phone is really good. The videos are good in terms of white balance, colors, exposure level, and also stabilization. The stabilization is surprisingly good on this phone, and that's the main thing with videos. Videos need to have good stabilization so that they look good, and Realme 7 Pro does a very good job in terms of the stabilization. Now when it comes to videos, there's a special mode called as movie mode, which will shoot in 21:9 aspect ratio, and it's essentially pro mode for video. You can control all aspects about the video like white balance, shutter speed, ISO, etc. and you can tweak those settings to get the right shot. And also it's 21:9. 21:9 looks really cinematic and it does work really well. At first I thought that it's a gimmick, but that's not the case. The movie mode does work, and yeah, I would love to shoot more videos with the movie mode. Maybe I'll make a vlog with the Realme 7 Pro and upload that on the Hindi channel. Yes, I did start vlogging on the Hindi channel, and if you haven't subscribed to that channel yet, then what are you waiting for? Links will be available in the description box below. Moving on, let's talk about the front camera. So the front camera is a 32 megapixel shooter, and honestly, it's not the best out there. At first I thought it's a good front camera, but as and when I shot more selfies, I realized that the skin tones are off, the dynamic range is all over the place, and the selfie camera is just okay. It's not the best out there, and for the price of rupees 20,000, Realme could have done a better job in optimizing the front camera. Now you may have realized that I did not talk about the macro camera. That's because the macro camera sucks. It is not good at all. It's just 2 megapixel, very low resolution, and it's just there so that Realme can claim that they have a quad camera setup. It would have been accepted for like a 15,000 rupees phone, but for a 20k phone, I'm not gonna accept that macro camera. I said the same thing about OnePlus Nord, and yeah, same applies here. The macro camera is not acceptable. Please don't give that. Instead, we could have like a telephoto camera. Remove the depth sensor and macro camera and give us a telephoto camera. Everyone would be much happy with that. Overall, to sum it all up, Realme 7 Pro is a very good phone in terms of the camera. You can shoot some awesome photos and videos with the Realme 7 Pro. So if camera is at your topmost priority and your budget is somewhere around 20k, then yeah, you should buy the Realme 7 Pro and you won't be disappointed. You can take my word for it. So anyway, that's been it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that it helped you out in some way or the other. And if it did, then please make sure to tell me about it in the comment section down below. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe below. It would mean the world to me. My name is Harsh Punjabi, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.